Coming up on 12 News at 5, new details emerging about the suspect accused of raping an incapacitated woman at a Valley healthcare facility.
Plus, the face of the government shutdown, a veteran and federal employee going without pay as medical bills for his cancer battle stack up.
Think of the most stressful thing they ever had and multiply it by 10.
And put the phone down and drive. The renewed push to make Arizona roads safer. Good evening, everyone. First to our big story. New details about the Phoenix nurse accused of raping and impregnating one of his disabled patients. Yeah, this story has sparked outrage in the community and grabbed international headlines. Now, a former co-worker is coming forward to 12 News with new details about Nathan Sutherland. The 36-year-old was arrested yesterday after investigators matched his DNA to the baby who was born at the facility just under a month ago. As we wait to hear Sutherland's plea in court, we learn more about who he was at work. And Team 12's Jessica DeNova has more from a former co-worker. And Jessica, she says that Sutherland made a fool out of everyone.
That's right. Eleanora Riggers is absolutely shocked. She thought of Nathan Sutherland as an excellent caretaker.
I was absolutely devastated.
That's because Eleanora Riggers discovered her former co-worker,
He was somebody that I worked very closely with.
Is accused of raping and impregnating a severely disabled woman.
Horrible.
Riggers says during her time working alongside Nathan Sutherland at Hacienda Healthcare, she trusted him professionally.
I felt very confident in him as a professional, confident in his abilities and mine, and we worked well as a team. If I had a problem, I had no problem going to him and knowing that he would address whatever patient concern I had.
Never suspecting the man she swapped stories with of home and their children would end up here.
Nathan Darcy Sutherland.
Phoenix police detectives say DNA shows Sutherland is the father of the disabled woman's newborn.
My thought process went from thinking he was this good Christian guy to thinking he's a sociopath and he had everybody fooled.
We heard Riggers there mention Sutherland's faith. He was part of a Christian rap group with his sister, both brought here to Arizona from Haiti by their pastor. Live in the Alert Center, Jessica DeNova, 12 News.
All right, Jessica, thank you. Our I-team is continuing to dig into more details in this disturbing case. If you have any tips about this case, you can email your information to 12 News I-team tip line. That is connect@12news.com. You can also reach out to us on Facebook and on Twitter. We're learning new details about a deadly shooting involving a DPS trooper in Flagstaff. Investigators tell us one person is dead and another is in critical condition right now. The suspects, Marcus Gashal and Preston Ozus, took off after a routine traffic stop last night. After a search of the area, troopers caught up with the suspects outside of a home on Topeka Avenue. As troopers approached, both suspects pulled out a gun and opened fire on the troopers. One trooper was hit in the hand. The others returned fire, hitting and killing Marcus Gashal. Preston Ozus was also hurt in the shooting. He remains in critical condition right now. Investigators say both men had a history of arrest. Ozus has an active felony warrant for a probation violation. Tonight, we're getting new video from the Arizona border showing migrants scaling a border wall that's already in place near Yuma. Customs and Border Protection released the video this morning. They say all the people in the video were arrested, including a human smuggling suspect who helped people over with a ladder. The new video comes during a budget battle over the funding for a border wall. Of course, that's been the main sticking point in the debate over the partial government shutdown, which is now stretching into day 34. And with more than 800,000 federal employees facing another week without a paycheck, all eyes are on the Senate floor. Today, lawmakers took on a pair of bills aimed at reopening the government and getting people back to work. But as Blaine Alexander explains, progress has been slow as lawmakers on both sides continue to dig their heels in.
Provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the...
Today, the Senate, for the first time, taking a stab at reopening the government, voting on a pair of competing bills that would end the shutdown, but both of those bills failed as expected.
The motion is not agreed to.
The Republican offer, $5.7 billion for President Trump's border wall. The Democrats' plan would fund the government for 2 weeks, but no money for the wall.
Let's put the bitterness behind us and do what is right for the American people.
It comes as the administration is under increasing fire for being out of touch. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, one of the wealthiest members of the president's cabinet, suggesting some of the 800,000 affected federal workers take out loans to get by instead of going to food banks.
These are basically government guaranteed loans because the government has committed these folks will get their back pay.
Ross later trying to walk it back.
You cannot imagine walking in my shoes.
With the shutdown now in day 34, the president promising we will not cave on the border wall, but making a rare retreat on a different issue after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi barred him from giving his State of the Union speech in the House chamber during the shutdown, the president agreeing to delay the address until after the government reopens.
What we have to talk about is opening up government to recognize the pain and unfairness of this shutdown.
Pelosi says she will meet with President Trump anytime, but wall money is still off the table. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
And as the government shutdown stretches on, some federal employees are set to miss their second paycheck. It's putting stress on families, especially those with medical conditions.
Team 12's Michael Doudna spoke to one federal worker who has mounting medical bills as he faces cancer amid the shutdown. Michael?
Yeah, that's right, guys. I mean, if you want to face the potential impact that a shutdown can have, look no further than Stephen Vigas, whose whole life has been spent in public services, working now unpaid during what may be the toughest time of his life.
Think of the most stressful thing they ever had and multiply it by 10.
Stephen Vigas, Marine, prison officer, and patient.
I got diagnosed with AML, acute myeloid leukemia.
Last January, a doctor visit ended with that diagnosis. Since then, a cycle of chemo, stem cell transplant, and recovery. His wife, Linda, there the entire time.
You want to cry? I want to cry. You know, it's one of those things that you want to do, but you just can't. You hold it in.
Stephen not cured, but better. Finally returning to work in the federal prison in Safford, but now no paycheck.
I went from being out for almost a year to going into work and not getting paid.
See, federal prison officers are some of the 800,000 workers going unpaid during the shutdown. And Stephen, well, he faces steep medical bills, sometimes $300 for just some medicine.
And you start saying, okay, food or a medical bill, and you're like, I got to survive to pay the food and get the food, so medical bills go first.
The Vigas is thankful for their surrounding community, with friends and family coming out to help, but it doesn't take away from the difficulties.
You have good days where you're happy and other days where you see something that affects you and you just want to break down and cry and yell at the world.
The family now just trying to hold on, hoping politicians in Washington realize they are dealing with real lives here.
It's life or death to us because, you know, if he can't get his treatments, he could die.
I personally just can't wait for it to end. So, like I said, the military taught me to deal with a lot of stress, and if I wasn't in the military, the stress right now would be driving me over the edge, I think.
If you want to help Stephen, you can go to his Facebook page, Leukemia Stephen's Fight. There will be a GoFundMe link on there. Now, the same prison community also has another officer, also a Marine and a football coach, who is also dealing with cancer, and that is a tough time right now for the community down there in Safford. Guys, back over to you.
All right, Michael, we certainly hope it ends soon. Well, as lawmakers dig in their heels in Washington, we are asking you to get in on the conversation. We ask, how long do you think the shutdown will last? 1 more week, 1 more month, 6 months, or all year long?
All right, you can see our live interactive poll there. Right now, majority saying 1 more month. Let us know what you think. You can cast your vote by going to 12news.com/yourvoice.
Well, put the phone down and drive. It's the new push from lawmakers in Arizona right now.
Yeah, it comes 2 weeks after Salt River tribal officer Clayton Townsend was hit and killed by a driver who admitted to texting while driving. Now senators are working to ban texting and driving across the entire state. Senator Kate Brophy McGee announced this morning she's introducing SB 1165, a bill that would require drivers statewide to go hands-free while behind the wheel.
And members of Salt River Tribal Officer Clayton Townsend's family were on hand when the senator announced the hand-free bill. They agree something needs to be done about texting and driving.
This is a change we have to make. It's a social standard that everybody seems to think is okay, and it's not. We have to get the phones out of our hands.
This is the DUI issue of our times, and we need to educate and reculture our driving public to follow the rules.
And according to Senator Brophy McGee, other states that have similar forms of legislation have seen a 16% reduction in fatalities. Arizona is one of just 3 states without a texting and driving law.
All right, now it's time to look at today's Who Tweeted It, and here's the post. Earning a spot on the CDP's A-list for being a climate change leader has us feeling good. So who tweeted it? Well, it's the Waste Management, and of course, they have a lot to feel good about this time of year. We are gearing up for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And remember, 12 News is your home for the Open this year. So keep it right here all month as we count down to the greatest show on grass.
Our live coverage, including the food, music, fashion, the behind-the-scenes magic, only on the Big 12, starting this Saturday at 9 o'clock, only on 12 News. We hope you join us. All right, Copla's dash cam video captures a close call for a sheriff's deputy. Details on that shocking video up next. Wow.
Wow, that's scary. All right, and do you have a question for me? You can text it right now. The number is 602-444-1212, and I'll answer one of those at the end of the show.
And we stay just shy of that 70-degree mark today, officially topping out at 69. These are 5 p.m. temps across the valley, and we have 70s in the near-term forecast. I'll let you know how long those 70s will stick around.
Right now, let's get a look at your hot headlines. The suspect involved in an officer-involved shooting in Fountain Hills pled not guilty in court today.
Yeah, 18-year-old Ismail Hamed was arrested earlier this month after throwing rocks at a sheriff's deputy in Fountain Hills. And officers say they opened fire, hitting him after he charged them with a knife. FBI is also investigating Hamid for possible ties to terrorist organizations. Investigators say Hamid said several things during a 911 call to the deputy indicating an allegiance to ISIS.
A man recovering tonight after a dramatic rescue in Goodyear. Police say he fell into a 25-foot-deep manhole. You can see the rescue efforts as crews work to pull the man out. We're told he suffered a leg injury and was taken to the hospital. However, he is expected to be okay. And a reminder to lock your cars as Glendale police search for suspects that broke into several cars in a neighborhood near 59th Avenue. The crime was caught on camera, and it happened on January 15th around 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyone with information is asked to call Glendale Police. And coming up on 12 News at 5, dash cam video captures a close call for a sheriff's deputy. Details on the shocking video coming up next. Well, we've been seeing these images for the past few days. The deep freeze is on. Much of the country is enduring bone-chilling cold after a storm dumped really heavy snow, rain, and ice on millions from the Midwest to New England. The system is blamed for at least 3 deaths.
And it's still causing problems for people there. Take a look at this video from Wisconsin. Icy roads nearly claiming another life as a car slips out of control. This is so scary. Take a look. Comes careening right towards that sheriff's deputy. The sheriff's office posted the video reminding people you've got to slow down. All right, luckily no snow in our forecast. It's been gorgeous. I see those images and I do not miss the snow at all.
Yes, no, this is the bunny season, and like you said, it makes the horrible summers here.
I'll take my the summers here versus the snow there. I know you've been in the Midwest for quite a bit. I don't miss my Northwest weather at all.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but you live 2 hours away from snow and mountains,
if I want it, I'll go up there.
You can go up there, get your fill, and come right back down to the 70s, which we're going to be seeing plenty of over the next week. Beautiful weather pattern for us. High pressure is in control. That means dry, sunny weather for us and above average temperatures. Today, we officially topped out at 69, and this will be the last of the 60s through at least the middle of next week, as high temperatures each afternoon will make it to the 70s starting tomorrow. Clear skies expected tonight. Wind speeds have really settled down. We'll bottom out at 42 tomorrow.
Remarkable given all the injuries that they've had to deal with. The All-Star break coupled with the bye week, the Coyotes don't play again until February 2nd. But I'm telling you, Caribe and Mike,
so close.
This is a very special group.
They've got some exciting players, and Connor Garland is. I mean, he's a spark plug.
He is, and the word playoff. I mean, that's been foreign around here for a while.
Man.
But we can speak
need a playoff game in anything.
So you said February 3rd? Is that what you said? February 3rd, right?
February, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Coop. All right, well, we're not done yet. Up next, we're going to answer one of your questions in tonight's Ask Caribe. The number is 602-444-1212, so send us your text.
And let's take a look now at our social sound-off question of the day. We're asking, how long does it take for a saguaro to start growing an arm? Is it
time now to answer one of your questions? And the question is there a story you have covered that stayed with you for a long time? And I'll have to say it was when I was in El Paso, Texas. I covered a story about a retired teacher who had been diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease and was taking her family on a final trip to Disneyland. That one stayed with me for a long, long time. In fact, I still think about her to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I've had those kind of stories. We were sharing a young Marine had been killed earlier there, Iraq War, and just crying with the mother and hugging her. So we do those.
Tragedy. Those are the toughest
impactful ones certainly stay with you.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. We will be back here in 30 minutes for 12 News at 6. Have a great evening, everyone.